Hi, I'm Double Nine. Wanna play? Hey, what's up, you guys? Film Fan 0599 here again, and today we're going to review Cult of Chucky. So Cult of Chucky stars Brad Dourif, and what this film is basically about. It takes place after the events of Curse of Chucky, and, Chucky has returned to terrorize his victim from the last movie, Nika, who's now in a psychiatric hospital. And also, he's also tying up some loose ends with some other foes from the past with the help of his former wife, Tiffany. So, what did I think of Cult of Chucky? Now, me with the Child's Play franchise, it's kind of somewhat all over the place. I really love the first movie a lot. I think the first movie is actually still holds up as a really genuine, really terrifying movie. But everything kind of, for the most part, after that, it really isn't that good. Child's Play 2 is just fine. It's okay, really. It's not bad installment, but it's just okay. Child's Play 3, I did have a little bit of fun with that movie. I will admit there are some fun and enjoyable things with that film. But then once Bride and Seed came along, that's when really I think the franchise was starting to go off the rails. Bride, they tried to make it like a dark comedy, and it just really didn't work for the most part. And then Seed just took that even further with that, and it just was a real big mess of a movie. And with Curse, I never got to see Curse, but I heard it, went back to what made the original movie so great. So I was like, okay, but I heard this one was going to be even more like that. So I was very interested to see where they can go with this installment of the Child's Play franchise. And I gotta say, I had a good time with it. I'm not gonna lie, I had a pretty solid, enjoyable time with it. It's definitely one of those movies you could just sit back and relax and just enjoy. Honestly, it's one of those movies. I had a pretty good time with Cult of Chucky. So let's get into my positives. And my positives are, first being the acting. The acting is actually not too bad in this movie. I thought, the performances were actually pretty solid. It's not stellar, it's not like Oscar-worthy or anything, but considering that this movie is the 7th installment in a horror franchise and it's straight to DVD, yeah, it's pretty good for something like that. And I did think, a lot of the people did a pretty solid job. Fiona Dourif, who's actually Brad Dourif's daughter, she plays Nika, and I thought she was really good. I thought she actually gave a pretty solid performance, and I did enjoy her in the film. So yeah, she was pretty good. The guy who plays, I believe, his name, they named him like multiple Mike or something like that, and he was good. I liked him in the movie. He did a pretty good job. The guy who played the therapist was pretty solid, and Jennifer Tilly, who I really don't think is the greatest of actresses. I haven't really enjoyed her in any of the parts of the series that she's been a part of with this franchise, but I will admit that she didn't do too bad of a job in this one. I didn't really mind her in this one as well. But of course, the one that steals the entire show is, of course, Brad Dourif as Chucky. This is definitely the best performance I've seen him give the character since the third one. And I really enjoyed him. He really, brought what was so great about this character, what was before he's, narcissistic. He doesn't really take himself too seriously. And that's what I loved about Chucky, and he was great. I really enjoyed him in the film, and, it's great that Brad Dourif still comes back to do these films. No matter how many years it's been, he still comes back to play this character, and it's great. I really love him as this character, and he did a fantastic job. I loved Brad Dourif, sorry, as, Chucky. Yeah, apparently Brad Bird's now Chucky, but no, Brad Dourif, he did a really great job, as the character once again, really brought back to me what was so great about the character in the first 3 installments. So, and, the movie isn't really scary, I want to say, but there are some moments where it is genuinely creepy, I'll say. It's not really like it's so scary, but there are some genuinely creepy moments involving Chucky that I thought were pretty well done. And the movie is kind of funny as well at times. It's not over the top like, say, Bride or See, but it is pretty funny at times. I do like how they incorporated the comedy into this. I thought they actually did a pretty solid job with that in the film. I like the use of, because, you know, the movie is called Cult of Chucky. I didn't really know what they were exactly going to do with that, but once they kind of grasp on that concept of the Cult of Chucky, they really do grab of that, you know, concept of the title, and it's really cool. And once you see what they do with that, it's pretty interesting. And there's a scene where just like a, you know, kind of a bunch of Chuckies are talking to each other. And it's like one of the best scenes I've seen all year, because it was just glorious. It really was. It was a glorious sight to see, and it was great. I loved it. The writing, for the most part, is actually not too bad. I really didn't think the writing, for the most part, was all too bad, honestly. It was pretty solid, honestly, for the most part, really. Directing was really good, actually, with this movie, considering, like I said, that this movie is straight to DVD. Pretty solid, I'll say. You know, this... I really don't understand how this was straight to DVD, to be honest, because it felt like more like a theatrical release than some movies that came out this year that were theatrically released. So, yeah, the directing is really solid. The movie is very well shot. Editing's pretty good. I thought the editing was solid. The cinematography is really good with the movie, too. I thought the cinematography was pretty solid. So, yeah, the movie has some really solid directing to it. I thought the directing wasn't too bad, honestly, with the film. And same goes with the pacing. The movie moves at a nice, natural pace, and there was never a time, really, where I was bored with the film. The movie's like an hour and 30 minutes, and there's really no slow moments to me. It moves at a really nice, natural pace. Oh, how can I forget this? Alex Vincent returns as Andy, and he's great. I loved him in this movie. I love how Andy was in this film. He was awesome, and he was definitely one of the best aspects of this entire film. He was great. Now, I do have a few negatives with Cult of Chucky. There are a few negatives I do have with the film. First being, there is one person in the movie that I did think was really bad. She's kind of the one that really doesn't want to believe, oh, like, this is not real, this is, like, you know, Chucky is not real, you guys are all crazy and stuff like that. Like, she's that person in the movie, and she honestly got on my nerves, and I did think she was the worst character in the entire film. And I was just like, just go away, please, honestly. Your presence is not needed, honestly. I really did think she was the most annoying character in the entire film, and really, the only one that I thought was honestly, like, really bad in the movie. So, yeah, there are some times where the movie can get a little bit over the top, like a little bit too over the top, with, like, mostly it's the death sequences, really. You know, some of the death sequences can be a little bit overdone, especially one that involves, like, an oxygen tank. I really did think that was a little bit too over the top. I was just like, alright, we're overdoing it just a little bit. Yeah, that's just really with the death sequences. They just kind of overdo it just a little bit with that. So yeah, there are just some moments in the film that I do think kind of go a little bit too over the top. The humor doesn't always work. There are some times where the humor can be a little bit kind of like, it's not that great. So yeah, there are some times where the humor's not all that great, and sometimes the writing can be a little bit messy and a little bit not that great. But honestly, besides those problems, I had a fun time with this movie. It's a solid, enjoyable horror, you know, installment of this franchise. You know, it's very solid considering that this is the 7th installment and it's straight to DVD. I think it did a pretty solid job. So, yeah, I quite enjoy Cult of Chucky. So it's time for my official grade on Cult of Chucky, and my official grade on Cult of Chucky is a nice solid B. I think it's an enjoyable movie. I had a pretty solid time with it. You know, it's definitely just a fun, enjoyable movie that, you know, it's just you can sit back, relax, and watch. You know, and also I forgot to mention, I also like the atmosphere of, you know, how it was in a psychiatric hospital. Nice little take that they went with the movie. So, yeah, it's really enjoyable. I had a pretty fun time with it. So, yeah, definitely Cult of Chucky deserves a nice, solid B. So, if you have seen Cult of Chucky, what did you think of it? Leave it in the comment section below. And I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you out later. Peace.